Hi, this is Rae Luskin, the creative activist. And today I am so honored. I have two amazing guests to share with you. The first one is Tracey Bond, 007. She is the chief virtual publicist of Hollywood A-list, winning celebrity, PR coach, and trainer. She is a U.S. press agent. She's an Amazon best-selling entrepreneurial author. She has an incredible show on called Entrepreneurship Live, and it's, I believe, a show for Facebook. And I was just honored to be a guest on that, talking about domestic violence. And my other honored guest is Valessa Winslow from San Antonio, Texas, a motivational speaker, life coach, the author of of a new book that is coming out on Halloween, and it is going to be amazing. It's called Rape the Silence, Good Girls Don't Tell Until Now. She's a mover and shaker, and I love her mantra, which says, unleash your greatness and show up. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you, Rae, for having us.
Oh,
thank
so
you
glad
so
you're
much, Rae.
I'm just so honored that I could have a conversation about how a new book is birthed. So first I'm going to talk with you, Valessa, a little bit. I want to know about your story. You know, how did taking pen to paper change your life?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question because pen to paper changed my life. It's all about being honest with yourself, because what people need to know is taking off the mask. A lot of times people wear a mask, and from the outside, it's looking like everything is picture perfect. But on the inside, they have so much pain and sadness, shame, and guilt. But what I did was I looked in the mirror and I said that I had a lot of baggage that I need to get rid of. So I put pen to paper and I started journaling about intimate thoughts that I went through as a young child. And I saw snapshots of my life as a young girl growing up into where I am today. And so that was so therapeutic for me to do that, and it made me become whole, and it made me become beautiful from the inside out.
Okay, why don't you tell people a little bit about your story? I mean, it's so compelling. I'd love to hear, I'm sure people want to hear about that.
Okay, first part about it was as a little child, I watched my mom being beaten by my stepfather. And so when you're seeing that of your mother going through domestic violence, of being beaten, you're looking at that, but as a child looking at that, it seems to be normal to a child. But when you're seeing your mother going through that, you're looking at her crying, you're looking at her wiping away the tears, but also the next day you're seeing bloodshot red eyes, and you're thinking to yourself, this can't be a way to go, as in a good thing. So what people need to realize is that from a child's perspective, seeing that it will affect you as an adult. And it starts sometimes, I'm speaking for me, it starts at a young age of seeing the abuse that goes on in your house. I can't go too far in depth with this, Rae, because as you know, this covers in my book. But what I can tell you is that as a young child growing up, seeing my stepfather beat my mother on a continuous basis, initially I thought this was acceptable. But when we realize that you're seeing your mother crying and staying in this relationship, it will affect that child. And I often just say to myself, is this really a good thing? But you don't know any better as a child growing up. Is this a good thing to see all this abuse?
Right, right.
But at some point, a child gets affected. And when your child gets affected, they carry that pain. They carry that. And before you know it, you're thinking about your mom. And before you know it, when you get older and you go through those adolescent stages, well, guess what sometimes you end up doing? You end up going through the same stuff that you would do as your mother. you would go through the same situations.
Right. Now, I'd love to ask you, I know you had a successful career in the Air Force, and why now? You know, you've done so many successful, wonderful things in your life. Why now?
That's a great question. You asked me that. Why not? It's because serve my country. I've given so much to everyone else. And when you give so much to everyone else, you want to say to yourself, now it's time for me to do me now. What it is about me, I serve my country, and I need to just sit down and say what I want to do. Well, as a little girl, Rae, I wanted to be a motivational speaker, and I wanted to share my story. I didn't know how I was going to do it, and I didn't realize everything that I went through in my life was going to bring me where I'm at today. It's a beautiful thing to be even talking to you on your show today, because it's all sharing that journey of your life. And so everything I'm talking to you about now is often what I wanted to do. I wanted to be where I'm at today. So I'm taking my life back of being what I want to do for a change. You know how you give so much to everyone else? And now I want to do me now without being convicted and saying, I want to do me. I've given
I
so much
love
to
that. I
everyone
think that's really important, especially women as we age. I think there comes a tipping point where we have done for everybody else, and there has to be that moment where we are, it's about me now. It's about sharing my voice, standing up for what I believe, and being totally authentic.
Exactly.
I know you've connected and you've worked with Tracey on this. I always talk about creative activists. What's different about them is they collaborate. So I'd love to hear from you and Tracey both how you got together, how you met, and how you collaborated on this piece.
Well, I collaborated with Tracey. Did you want to start it off, or you want me to start it off?
No, please go ahead with your intro. I'll come right in.
Okay, well, a lot of times when you said, Rae, you said, how did you want to get started? Well, a lot of times when you're on your journey of your life in your next chapter, you said that I had served my country. I did a great thing of serving my country, but you never know when somebody's watching you. And so I was doing my thing on stage, which I love. I'm passionate, connecting with an audience in a certain city. Well, I didn't know she was in the audience. Tracey Bond was in the audience. I was connecting with an audience that was a little bit difficult at the time, but I went back and put my military hat on of my corporate training, which I connect with people and ask them questions to engage with them. But long story short, I did not know she was watching. She introduced herself as Tracey Bond, 007 agent, and first thing she introduced herself, and she said, I loved how you commanded that stage. She said it took something for you to do that, and you never know. And she reminded me that. She said, you never know who is watching you. And I said, it's a pleasure to meet you. I've heard some things about you, and you're right. And I paused for a second. I said, that made me think about something, because that made me realize you never know when you will receive a blessing at the right time. And I'll go ahead and let Tracey come in on this piece of it, because it's very critical.
Oh, my goodness. Bless you, Valessa. I'm just so humble right now hearing this. And I really do share and speak words that I live by, Rae. Of course, you know this, also having collaborated with you. I have a discernment and a gift, which I think we both share on this call, you as host and also Valessa as my client, for really picking up on the energies and spirits of others who are on great purpose. And I'm going to give this back to her, because oftentimes she talks about there are magnets inside of us. And just as a magnet, I think, can draw sometimes depending on what kind of energies we're giving out, negative or positive. On the positive side, I am very hyper attracted to others who are giving off a strong energy of their purpose. And she was ready. She was ready. Whatever she was sharing at the time, she was so ready that when they got the intro music up, to get her to come up to stage and speak, or come up to the front of the audience and introduce herself and share her core message, there was this interesting quietude, almost as if the audience was frozen. And I'm thinking, wow, here are these professional networking people. And before the meeting got started, everyone seemed to be very friendly, right, Valessa? Moving around,
Yes.
milling about, introducing themselves, sharing business cards. And then she spoke, and there was this awesome silence. And then she did not go right into her message. What she did was she compelled this audience to show enthusiasm in advance. And she brought them into her intro to hold their attention. And I thought, you know what? What we have here is someone that's definitely ready to speak to all kind of audiences and definitely command them. So her authority was attractive. And then when we connected afterwards, and I learned that she had been in the process of actually telling her story, we followed up when she got back home, and we had a consultation call, which is my practice, just a discovery call to share ideas and find out where people are headed on their journeys, as Valessa shared. And her story and her experience and knowing what she's come from, knowing what she's accomplished and where she's at now, I thought, yep, there's an absolute reason why I met her. This is another ideal client that I'm excited about and wanting to find out what skills, talents, what platforms that I have to be able to help her continue to expand her reach, build her audience so that she can impact others with this story. And just so happens that she actually truly trusted that when I suggested that this book was so amazing and her story was so amazing, Rae, that she invest in a little bit of time and a little bit of resources to upgrade it. She went forward, and in about 57 days, we got this thing done and putting the nips and tucks on it and polishing it, and wow, this coming Halloween day, wow, Rae, she's going to scare, I believe, the enemy of her whole childhood pain.
Oh, I love that. And I love the fact what's different about your book is you actually have a companion workbook to go along with it. As Tracey knows, everything I do in my book, The Creative Activists Make the World Better, One Person, One Action at a Time, which fits right in with our conversation, is about personal development plus leadership. And so I have, for 36 stories, I have 3 personal development questions and a take action step. So this is exactly the kind of stories I love to share and tell. And I think it's so critical that you are taking a stand. The more voices we have out in the world right now, the greater difference we can make. And I'm going to go back to you, Valessa, a little bit and talk about the process of writing for you. You know, you got this done in 57 days. That's pretty incredible. So what was that like for you, working with Tracey and getting this actually completed?
Okay, I got it done with Tracey in 57 days, but I must say and be transparent, I had to go through a 2.5-year healing process, which means that I had to go through dealing with all the pain that I've been through. So I've been through being raped, I've been through being molested, and I have been through domestic violence. So I had to go seek a therapist for a long period of time throughout that 2.5-year process. And the first thing they said to me was, well, it was Miss Taylor at the time, well, we would like for you to journal. I said, well, I got you covered. I'm doing all that right now. I'm journaling. I got you covered. Well, and more so got you covered at the end of the process, which I had already met Miss Bond. I said, I'm even in the process of getting ready to write my story, even more so being an author. Okay, so I've done the work, but what you need to realize is that when we are talking about and sharing our story, it is a process that is so painful. It was so painful for me, Rae, because I went back to, as a little girl, of seeing my mother being beaten. I went back to that pain of seeing my mother crying, but staying in that relationship. And when I buried my mother, Tracey, and Rae, you know what? She never remarried. And, you know, she ended up being a paranoid schizophrenic because he beat her till she lost her mind. So it was horrific for me to realize that I will share my story to let people know, please get out of it. It's not worth it. And number two, for the people that did me wrong like that, I am back my life because this is a generational curse in my family. And I'm taking it back, and no longer will this happen again because I'm cutting it off. And I'm leaving a legacy for my children. Yes. When that person raped me, they took something from me. And it made me not being able to trust men. It made me not even know how to love the right way. So this has not been an ordinary walk for me, ladies. And I'm sharing my story to help anyone, not just women, men, to go through this journey. And that's what my book and my companionship is about. This is hard work. You put your story out there to the world, this is hard work. And Tracey will tell you, because I didn't like Tracey for a lot of times. She made me go deep, and I couldn't stand her sometimes. I avoided her sometimes because it was taking a scab off wounds. And I avoided her. I gave her all kinds of excuses because I didn't want to go back to that pain again.
Tell the truth.
That editing over and over again, reliving it all again. But you know what? I win. I take back my life.
Yes.
That's why I'm here, to take a stand and rape that silencer. Because I'm coming forward.
I want to ask you what your plans are for sharing this book going forward. You know, where can people get it? How are you going to be speaking? I know you started a nonprofit. I'd love people to hear a little bit about that. And how you're going to take your message forward.
We are working on that as we speak, of getting it out there, and we'll stay tuned for where we're going to have it. I know Amazon is where the location is going to be. We'll talk more about that. Actually, after we get off the call, we're going to make more information about it. As we say, stay tuned to October 31st. I have a nonprofit organization called Inspired to be Transformed, and that's where we're going to have workshops available for individuals that need assistance in the areas that I'm talking about. And it's just begun. The nonprofit has just got off the ground just now as we speak. So we're collaborating together with my partner. We're collaborating. We're doing some good things, some good work as we speak. So stay tuned for some more beneficial advice and encouragement that I can give people. But I would like to let you know that if you check out my website, ValessaWinslow.com, I would like to speak in any locations. And I think this is a great platform to let people know, Rae, about upcoming events. You know that I am a life coach. You know that I am a motivational speaker. So I am pretty sure that you will be happy to share the word that Valessa Taylor or Winslow, I'm sorry, is ready.
Okay. Well, I know on your Inspired to Be Transformed, I know it's new. Who are some of your collaborative partners in this? Because there's so many pieces that you were talking about there. You know, whether it's preparation for employment training, life skills, you know, educational, vocational, mentoring, leadership, creative arts. Now, creative arts is my arena, so I'm just letting you know. I've used art for healing for a very long time, and that's been part of my platform, is using creativity for healing. So, who are you partnering with on this?
I'm partnering with Chris Crease. He's CC3. That's his organization. Chris Crease is my partner.
Okay. And now, is this going to be in Texas, in San Antonio? I guess is this going to be an actual physical space? Is this an online program?
This is going to be we're going to collaborate and have a physical space in San Antonio, but there are going to be online courses as well. And like I said, you know, when you just starting out with a company, we are going to have workshops, but also we're going to have some online courses as well.
Okay, I always like to ask creative activists, especially in the beginning of their journey, what is your biggest challenge and how do you plan to overcome it?
The biggest challenge for me is getting together with like-minded individuals that can see my vision, and we come together from cradle to grave and build a network together. That's one of my biggest challenges.
Okay. And do you have any ideas for that, to overcome that?
Yes, overcoming that is going to be having a mastermind group where we can meet together. One of the mastermind groups that I'm going to get together with will be a meetup and come together in San Antonio and pitch my idea about workshops that is going to help people come together and stay connected. Because once you get your voice out there and be heard and you build those connections and partnerships, I think that will be the way to go.
Okay, now I love that. Can you just describe what a mastermind is? Because there may be some people on our call who don't know what a mastermind is.
Well, I'm going to say it from my point of view. My mastermind is a think tank where people come together to collaborate on things that interest them. And we have an ultimate goal that we can come together and partnership together about, let's say for my example, my part, we're going to partnership together on how we're going to, let's say, for example, what is going to interest you right now? Well, I'm interested you on domestic violence. So I'm going to come together and I have a nonprofit organization. So we're going to come together on domestic violence. We may have people that be guest speakers about that. Other organizations that can come together as well on nonprofit organization about domestic violence as well. And come together, and we can be able to come together on a quarterly and just get some ideas together so we can all be team players and come together as one.
Okay. I have one question about the Air Force, and I don't know if you can talk about this. And did you experience a lot of domestic violence while you were there? Did you know people? And what was the Air Force response to that?
I did not experience any domestic violence in the Air Force, and I cannot speak on the Air Force.
Okay, because I know there have been different people who've spoken out, you know, of the problem. People come back, PTSD, DV, you know, are symptoms. So I didn't know if you'd had, you know, new people in that world. Okay, I guess. Tracey, why don't you chime in here? And what do you see are next steps for you and Valessa going forward?
Well, at this time, Valessa is ready to take her book out into the world. So as far as I know, currently, she's done the work. The unique thing about our collaboration is not only initially hiring me on as a virtual publicist for her, I've helped create the buzz, the awareness, the exposure, building up very strategically dripping, her story, her personage, and her message, her mindset, so that people will be ready for the book. And so through that project, being able to compile and get this thing produced now, she's going to nurture it. It's like birthing a child. She's going to spend some time taking care of her baby. And so I believe she's going to spend some time with her family, right, Valessa? You're going to get some vacationing in there too, so that she can find a balance, because as she did share, this has been a very, very life transforming experience just to bring this story to commercial production level. And then when she's ready to produce it, taking that next step and valuing it to invest in it being upgraded. We're going to take a little hiatus here. And so we'll see what happens. She's going to have a season to work with this. Of course, I'll be cheerleading and supporting. I so believe in what is going to happen. I believe it's bigger, so much bigger than she could have ever imagined. And you know this, Rae. We are all about big dreaming, and we step in by faith and with courage to things that we know in our own strength we probably couldn't do. But when you're meeting people that are letting you know that they are being helped, they are being heard, and they are being impacted by the solutions that you present, oh my goodness, it's going to be incredible. So I'll be right here, cheering her on all the way, because when you write a book, you know this is forever. This is your legacy. And she is breaking curses. And these are the kind of clients I like to work with. It's not just another job for me. We're doing life work. So I'm very excited that moving forward, even right now, I want to mention this. For those who are interested in getting updates for her, please go to bit.ly. There's a link out there where you can sign up and make sure she has, your emails, and I'll make sure that she gets that in time for the launch. We don't want you to miss it. Go to bit.ly / it's bit.ly actually / 2 lowercase h I K 9BA. And I will share this. I think I've shared this link with you, Rae. So please, as you share this episode, please share that bit.ly link. I'm just so excited to see anyone who's come through a pain story see their work published.
And we've had conversations how important it is to share your story. Even if you didn't write it, you only shared it with one other person. I believe it's such a healing tool. And it releases the burden of guilt and shame on you, and that so many people carry it around. And so I always, have implored people, tell your story to at least one other person. And it's more than just writing. If you're a painter, if you're a photographer, if you can't find anything other than somebody else's images, I do scribble doodles with people. I've done, music, lyrics. People are poetry.
Right.
There are so many ways to tell your story. And I think that is one of the keys of what you're saying today. And I implore you all to listen. Valessa, one last question. What is the legacy you would like to leave?
Well, I'm leaving the legacy of my book and my companionship to my children. And I'm holding up right now. You can't see it, but it's more books in me. But this is my first legacy. This is my first legacy of the book and the companionship. So that's what I'm leaving right now.
Any final words from either one of you?
My mantra is unleash your greatness and show up, and I did just that.
You did in such a brave, beautiful way. I love your story, your vulnerability, your honesty, and people will be inspired by that.
Thank you, Rae, for having me.
Awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate you both being on today. And this, again, is Rae Luskin, the creative activist. And when I put this up on the 31st, I will share the bit.ly link, and hopefully all of you will really listen, look for her, help her spread her message. Because, just because the month of October ends and Domestic Violence Month is over, it's never over. We have a responsibility to carry on the stories, the words, the ideas that are how we can create change in the world. Thank you all for listening. This is Rae Luskin. Bye.